It's party time! Woohoo! Yeah! Oh yeah!
Viva Pinata!
Viva, viva, pinata, yada, yada!
There's a place where everything's sweeter. Step on the candiosity meter. Meet all the candy-filled creatures.
Party animal!
All pinatas love to dance. Feel the music start to prance. Boogie like they're dancing our pants.
Welcome to picturesque Pinata Island. In its many gardens, all manner of pinatas live, dance, and dream that one day they will be chosen to entertain at a party as only pinatas can. Well, most pinatas, that is.
How fun!
Shake it, shake it, shake it.
Like a party animal.
Break it, break it, break it.
Like a party animal.
Shake it, shake it, shake it.
Like a party animal.
Break it, break it, break it.
Like a party animal!
Love to rock and love to bounce. But it's what's inside that counts. Delicious candy in large amounts.
Party animal!
So grab a stick and take a swing. Do the pinata thing. Come to the place where party is king.
Viva Pinata!
Carl and Damon here from Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and we continue our trawl through season 2 of Viva Pinata. It's episode 4. They made what into a TV series? 2 segments as per usual. The Fudgetive, which is a play on the fugitive, and She Stomps at Night. Now, something has to change here. So it appears around about this time, the airing changed for Viva Pinata. It looks like it ended up on 2 different channels, airing on different dates and times. So I'm going to cover both from now on. So initially aired February 17th, 2008 on YTV, then aired later on September 13th, 2008 on the CW4 Kids. I think they're Canadian TV channels, I think. So there we go. So we've got different air dates on 2 different channels, basically. Segment 1, the Fudgetive. It appears to be some sort of luau. And the pinatas are learning the hula dance, something that Pinata Central has apparently sponsored.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot what goes on in this world. Langster reveals that the winner gets launched to a party. And Fergie won. So Fergie won. Panicking, Fergie decides to... Don't sigh so hard. Panicking, Fergie decides to pretend he's been kidnapped by Professor Pester and writes to his friends. One note, confessing what he has done, is sent to Ella, but she eats before reading the full thing, which means no one will now know the truth. And immediately I just went,
Yep.
why did you send it? Why would you send it to Ella? One letter to Ella.
Give to your buddy, your buddy...
Your closest friend,
exactly, yeah.
Paulie.
Exactly, Paulie, yeah.
Paulie. That's the one they always seem to be together. Insane. In addition, though, Pester's taking a vacation. He's not actually at home.
I know.
He's just relaxing. Fergie, meanwhile, is hiding in the desert and hungry, thinking his friends have abandoned him. Because no one came to give him food, basically, because they never read his letter. He gets a visitor, a vacuum cleaner salesman, who starts to drive Fergie mad as he keeps trying to sell. I thought it was amusing.
It's funny,
Yeah.
yeah.
The salesman ends up revealing that he knows who Fergie is based off the news reporting of his kidnapping, and then blackmails Fergie into buying a motorized vacuum car. I was like, blackmail?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, show. In disguise, Fergie drives to a diner and orders some food. There he sees a news story of his friends going to rescue him from Pester and realises his other note hasn't been seen. He decides he has to stop them, but on his way out, a gang stops him and they realise they know who he is. As they advance, the news story changes and reveals that this gang, the Marzipan Gang, are being hunted and the diner is now surrounded by the police. The group run away, being chased by the police, leaving Fergie alone. This episode is a bit unusual.
Yeah.
It is a bit. He doesn't know what to do, but he decides he can go to Pester's lair and be abducted for real. That's his solution, right? This is Fergie 101.
Yeah.
Come clean, take your consequences and deal with it. No. Find another angle to get away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And his idea is, well, I'm just go there and get kidnapped anyway. Why is it preferable to go to Pester's, be smashed open for your candy, and not just go to a fucking party? It's the same fucking result.
Or just use your common sense and just walk back into your town
And say you escaped.
I escaped. That's it.
Yeah, there we go. We have so many solutions to this. Arriving at Pester's lair, though, Fergie finds it closed up and realises he's not home. That salesman is back, though, and blackmails Fergie now into buying a pinata catapult. He's the worst.
Such a wrong.
It was weird to have this blackmail going on. Fergie, though, uses it to try and get inside Pester's lair, but fails each time in comical ways. Fergie's out of time, though, so climbs up and calls for help, pretending to be stuck. The others think he's breaking out, so try to help him. They all end up falling, and Fergie lands on Ella's stomach, resulting in the original letter popping out of her mouth, which the gang read. Naturally, they are angry, but they agree to hide the truth.
Such a wrong message, man.
Where is the consequences for Fergie's behaviour? Like, I'm glad he didn't get away with it, but you can't be like, oh yeah, we'll lie for you.
Yep.
It's like, no, man. And afterwards, he gets an interview, thanks his friends, with Pester arriving home confused. I did like the fact that Pester's coming on the background and sort of goes,
Huh?
what? What's going on over there? And Fergie spends his time after using his expensive vacuum to help his friends. So they blackmailed him.
Yeah.
That's what that announced to.
Pretty much, yeah.
Weird fucking message in this episode.
I mean, I'm glad they didn't do something like, they're like, there's Pester, get him, and then he's being tortured or something, like, not tortured, like being
Tortured would be funny,
like being like attacked or whatever.
Yeah,
because then it'll be such the wrong message.
It's a weird one, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
weird one, and I don't think it's very good overall.
No, it's not.
And problem is that it's focusing on something we've seen way too much already, which is Fergie hiding so he doesn't have to go to a party. I feel like, didn't we do this in episode in season 1 where him and Paulie hid in the snow and they get into that snowball fight?
In the snow, there's the one where they hide in that big farm and the cows that keep doing up the
digging up the garden.
It seems to be very similar. Like it's almost like the out of ideas,
doing the same idea but a different location.
Yeah.
But then there are flares of imagination.
Yeah.
The vacuum salesman is a funny thing
It's
to
funny,
have.
yeah.
It's weird. But it's not a great segment overall. No. We have another one, and it's segment 2, She Stomps at Night. In Professor Pester's lair, Pester has a plan to get a pinata, and it involves a special agent named Tony TNT Taffy, being hired. Tony arrives and Pester pretends to cry, asking Tony for help. So it turns out Tony's not a villain. His services are actually meant for good. So Pester pretends that he's lost his dear Ella and says that she's been kidnapped by pinatas. And Tony agrees to help Pester get Ella and bring her to him. And I was like, this isn't the worst idea.
No.
It could work briefly.
Yeah.
Arriving at Ella's home, Tony struggles to get in her house, being as he's quite small. But reveals his skills in comical ways. He's an agent, special agent.
Yeah, I know.
Inside, Ella is asleep and he tries to wake her up but struggles. However, he seems to be able to speak directly to her subconscious through her ear and make her sleepwalk. He begins to lead her across the island, but it's a struggle and she ends up crashing through the other pinata's houses, waking everyone up naturally. The others, seeing this, give chase to try and stop her having an accident. I like that.
Yeah.
Tony gets Ella to the big red X that Pester had set up, planning to drop a boulder on her and get the candy. And you overcomplicated it. Why not back to your lair?
Back to your lair, but
why is a big red X with a boulder?
So vicious, it's so vicious, man. It's just going to drop a big rock on her head.
It is nice and vicious, actually, yeah. It looks like it's too late for Fergie and Paulie to save her, though. The rock begins to fall, but Tony sees Fergie and Paulie, and thinking that they're villains come to kidnap her again, instructs Ella to attack them, which means the boulder misses and Ella gives chase. They end up on her head, finding out up there who Tony is, or why Pester and the ruffians try to set up another boulder further down the path. The sleepwalking Ella and the pinatas on her head end up inside a volcano, but are able to direct her to a safer path, but end up hitting a dead end and falling down a big hill. There is some visual coolness.
Yeah.
We hadn't been inside that area before, and I quite liked it.
Yeah, there does seem to be a lot more new areas now in
Yeah,
the season. Yeah.
they're beginning to open up the island a bit more, which they should do in a brand new Viva Pinata game if they ever make it.
Yeah, definitely.
While they bounce down the hill, Tony and the pinatas argue about the motivations, and the others try to convince Tony that Pester is a villain. Arriving at another big red X and surrounding ruffians, Tony finally realises he's been set up and gets his revenge by setting Ella on them. As the minions and Pester panic, the boulder comes loose, but the pinatas are able to get Ella to balance on the rock and crush the baddies. As they look to be going over a cliff, Tony runs away and the group end up going over it. So it looks like Tony's a coward. He ran away. But he actually comes back with his SWAT team, bringing the sleeping Ella back home without her knowing a single thing about it. And as the others celebrate, she wakes up and thinks she was having a dream in that Wizard of Oz style. And you were there, and you were there, and you were there. So this segment, I like the imagination behind it.
Yeah.
Introduce a new character, tie it in an interesting way, create these new areas have this. I think there's imagination here.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's not much to it. It comes down to the same thing. Pest is an idiot.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
Yeah, it's like the Scooby-Doo effect. He's always going to get caught.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I don't expect him to win.
No,
that's the thing. I'm not expecting this series to end in Mortal Kombat Conquest style. I'm not expecting it sudden like Pest to just wins.
He's going to be eating them all.
Yeah, and it ends with Pest on a throne of pinata skulls. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to end that way.
That would horrify kids.
It would, but I would forgive all the meh of the entire show if that's how it ended, because this is what this episode is. It's meh.
Yeah.
Both segments are nothing special. I will forget these exist the moment this video is finished.
Yep.
It's the Fudgetive and She Stomps at Night, episode 4 of season 2 of Viva Pinata. You got any thoughts? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at gbhbl. Just search for gbhbl and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.